Hey, my name is Daniel Bedzen. I was born and raised in South Africa. It's a country about the size of Texas on the southern tip of Africa. Growing up, I never was exposed to central air conditioning. It's just not something that existed in the country. And in fact, culturally, our lives really evolved around how to live without it. Anyway, I ended up moving to the States. I met an American girl, got married and moved here. And along the way, I had a couple of discoveries about comfort. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So today I work in the HVAC industry, specifically in residential sales. I've had so many people tell me that no one else has told them what I told them. So I realized there's a need for communicating about HVAC in a way that anyone can understand, specifically if you're looking at buying a new system. And this is what this series is about. It's here to help you to understand what you're getting into, what you need to look for, how to go about getting the best deal, and also to help you get a price online. This is something that's very lacking in the industry, and particularly the younger generation are used to shopping online, and that's where they want to get their pricing. So I've developed a way to provide that. So in the late 80s, I came to Texas to do some business consulting, and I met a girl. And we had a long distance relationship for about a year, and then she finally came and visited me in South Africa, and shortly after getting into my car, she goes, "Where's the air conditioning button?" And I said, no, don't worry about that, we just roll down the window. Well, I'm telling you, I'm surprised this girl stuck around. Anyway, we've been happily married for many years now, so it all worked out. Growing up in South Africa, I grew up in Pretoria, a city near Johannesburg, which is in the central part of South Africa. It's about 5,000 feet above sea level, so it's pretty high. The winters get really cold, although you don't see snow there that often. So culturally, people put on some sweaters and a few space heaters, and that's how they deal with it. So after my wife and I got married, we settled in Cape Town, South Africa, where the temperatures are quite mild. Cape Town is as far south of the equator as San Francisco is north. It's also surrounded by ocean, so things are very similar, very mild. The winters are kind of wet, and again, you can get away with just having space heaters. The summers are not that brutal. Also, another interesting cultural phenomena in South Africa is there are many cases, particularly in small rural villages, where people make a fire in the place they live in to stay warm, and often they die from carbon monoxide poisoning. So as a child growing up, we were always told you have to make sure there's ventilation. So even in a school where we had this boiler system to help heat up the classroom, the teachers would open the windows to get fresh air because it was stuffy in here. So these were some very different cultural phenomena, and a few things for my wife to get used to when she first moved there. And one evening we were visiting some friends in Johannesburg. It was during winter, very cold. Everybody's dressed with sweaters and jackets on because it's cold. And we came out of that, and she goes, "Why don't they warm up their houses?" And I go, "What are you talking about? There was a space heater there. Didn't you see that?" Anyway, it was just so part of how you handled it. You just, if it's cold, you just get dressed warmly. So I didn't think much about it because that's what I grew up with. And a year or so later, we're traveling to Texas to visit family. And it's one of the coldest winters in Texas. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, somebody would run out to the car, get it started, warm it up, and then the rest of the family would run in, get in the car, and it just shake with how cold it is until we get to the house. And I remember arriving at her parents' house, and a few minutes later, we'd taken all our jackets and things off. And in fact, I put on some shorts and a t-shirt. So that's when I had my first realization about what a wonderful thing the central air conditioning is. And I looked at her and said, okay, I understand now. So that was my first major realization or discovery of central air conditioning. Anyway, fast forward to 2001, after 9/11 happened, my wife's emotional response to that was to move back home, which we did by moving to Austin, Texas. So in Austin, we had a kitchen and bath remodeling business that helped IKEA customers in all of Texas, Houston, Dallas, and in Austin. We installed as many as 14 kitchens a week, and we had to be super well organized to pull that off. Then COVID happened, and around that time we started looking at maybe making a change. Austin became very crowded, very expensive, And my wife did some research and found out you can get some really nice house for the money in the greater Atlanta area. So after moving to Atlanta, I decided I want to get into the residential air conditioning business, specifically wearing the sales hat. I didn't want to wear all these other hats anymore, and I wanted to be with a company I could trust. So I signed up with a company that has 80 branches throughout the country, a big national brand, and quickly found out that things were not quite the way it seemed. Every time I asked a technical question from the sales manager, he would say, "You're overthinking it, just go find out what size unit they have and replace it with the same." And people in the company, it can be a national brand, but if the people in that particular branch aren't very nice, it's going to show up, right? And sometimes the technicians would pick up stuff at the warehouse and be kind of upset by the time they arrive at the job site, and it's like, that's just not the way you want to operate in this business. So I found another company that was just the perfect fit for me. I mean, they deliver what they promise. They really care about making sure we go in the house and we find out what's really going on, and then coming up with a solution that's going to give those customers what they're looking for. So when I first got exposed to it, I learned that there's the good, better, best, or the bronze, silver, and gold options. And the gold option was always the variable speed technology. The premium seemed super high to me. I could see the energy benefits, but some of the other benefits just weren't that real to me. And as I got more exposure, I became more aware of what people say this can do. Anytime I ever met somebody who had a variable speed unit at a previous house and then they end up buying a new house, they always bought it again. From a comfort point of view, it just wasn't that real to me that it would make such a difference. And then this happened. I started waking up at night because of the air conditioner. What would happen is my wife likes it really cold at night. I would get in bed. My body sweats really easily, so if I have a little bit of airflow on me, I cool down. And I'd get up, get in bed all bundled up, and then a while later the air conditioner would turn off, and I'd wake up 10 minutes later in a cold sweat, stick out an arm and a leg. A while later it'll turn on again, blow all this air on me, and I wake up with this arm freezing and I have to bundle up again. And I went, wait a minute, this is happening with me all night long. And that was my second big discovery about comfort. The penny just dropped and I was like, oh, okay, that's really happening to me. So when the time came for us, we actually have 3 units. 2 of them were 18 years old, 1 was 6 years old. The 6-year-old one was the one blowing into our master bedroom. I was like, we are replacing all 3 of these things. I am not putting up with this anymore. And it's phenomenal. My wife is comfortable at a slightly higher temperature because we have a lot of humidity that's removed from the house. I can set up with 1 blanket, and I definitely don't have this on-off, wake up, fall asleep again thing going on. So that was a big new discovery for me in comfort. So even the entry-level products today are a lot more efficient than they were just a year ago. At the end of 2023, 14 SEER, which stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio, became illegal for installation in the South. A lot of companies went up 1 step to 15 SEER. In the case of Lennox, they went to a 17 SEER as an entry-level product. So the entry-level products are super efficient, but there's quite a lot you need to know about making the right purchasing decision. And that's what this series is about. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me as I continue to share more of my discoveries about comfort. If you're looking for an online price, please look out for the link below.